I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to introduce Darrell Pierce
yeah.
with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission.
Hey, Darrell.
I believe your title is biologist, senior biologist?
Area Fisheries Manager.
Area
So if y'all
Fisheries
remember Dave Arnold, he retired. I took Dave's spot. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you all for
Thanks for
coming.
being here.
So the board was just interested in knowing a little bit about, what your responsibilities are with the Fish and Boat Commission, like in particular to the lake, and what your job responsibilities are.
Okay, great. So the Fish and Boat Commission, we manage the state's fisheries within Area 5, which is the northeast corner of the state. That's the upper Delaware drainage. So I manage the waters from the Lehigh Basin, of which the lake here is part of the Lehigh Basin as part of the upper Delaware. As the area manager, I'm responsible for the Area 5 biologists. There's Anthony Wynn, who's a fisheries biologist under me, and then I have a seasonal position as well. Right now, we're doing lake work, of which we will actually be on Mauchunk come this Thursday, weather pending, looking for the bass. Earlier this year, we were on the lake at the end of March, and then at the end of April, assessing the panfish populations as well, the yellow perch, the bluegills, and whatnot. So my intentions is, at the end of that, this lake is in the Big Bass program. So my intention for all this sampling was to evaluate how the bass are doing, as well as the panfish. Hey, there you
That was
go.
the other day. That was just 2 days ago. I got a night.
Oh,
There
there's
you
a
go.
nice one.
I kissed them and throw them back.
That's
Oh,
what we,
yeah.
yep, that's what we like to see.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that the big bass rags are doing what we intend them to do to produce large-sized bass, as well as make sure the panfish populations in the forage are doing well. In that case, doing well as well. Sorry. Yesterday I decided to put together a PowerPoint presentation. I'll send that to Dave. He can disseminate that out to your group. What I'd like to do is I'll self-invite myself back to y'all come sometime early winter, and then I can present to you what we found this year relative to all the past years that we have. So in terms of what the PowerPoint will show you, the yellow perch, it's a robust population. There's great sizes of yellow perch out there. They are the dominant panfish in the lake. I mean, bluegills, pumpkin seeds, black crappies, they're there, and they're quality size.
Yeah.
But by and far, it's about yellow perch. We have not yet done the bass. So the electrofishing that we'll do come this Thursday and the following week, we'll target the shorelines. We'll go out, pull up the bass, measure them, weigh them, toss them back. And then that'll give me a good handle on how abundant they are, and then what size distribution we have within the lake. In past surveys, roughly we were on the lake every 3 to 5 years. We're talking about 5% of the bass population would achieve the 15-inch big bass limit. I personally would like to see that a little bit higher if we can. So depending on what we find this year, and when I come back to you and show you these results, I may start suggesting we may want to think about a different regulation so that we can improve the trophy sizes of the bass, so that not only are they a little bit larger that we can get the largemouth to, but maybe make them a little more abundant than what they are right now. There's ways to go about doing that, and we can discuss that once I have data in front of you and show you what we have. But in all, I'm very pleased with the panfish population. I'm very excited for the yellow perch population. Withhold what the bass are doing until I get to see them later this week. But from past experiences, the lake has been very stable in producing quality sized panfish as well as big bass. Just not to the level I would have liked to have seen it. But I think you have a great lake out there. I think it's doing really well.
Thank you, Daryl, for coming, or kind of initiated you coming. I'm Rick Forgay. I've been on the board since '88, but I've been fishing the lake since it's there, and even ice fishing. I used to pull walleyes out as big as our arm, So walleyes is another species that would be great to bring back to the lake.
We can talk about that. There's an issue. I'm sorry, I should have brought that up. We used to stock walleye in the lake back in the 70s,
yeah.
70s, 80s, even up into the 2000s. And we moved initially in the 70s. It was fry stockings. I mean, little tiny things
Right.
just out of the egg.
Bait.
Into exactly into a fingerling size, which is a little bit bigger. The decision for that was the larger you are, the better you're going to survive.
Right.
I mean, the fry, obviously, bait. Fingerlings, they're bait too, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. It's just
exactly.
forage.
Yeah.
What happened was in the surveys that we had up to 2011, we were stocking walleye up to 2011, and the results we were getting back from our catches, both from the trap nets and from the electrofishing, were below objectives within the walleye plan that's online. And so we terminated walleye stocking in this lake.
Yeah, but pickerel are abundant out there.
Yes.
Very abundant. Out there.
Pickerel are very abundant.
Yeah.
And
We
one
used
of
to have
the-
muskies down in the far end, 50 inches plus.
Yeah.
Guy Goldie Valiant used to get them back in the day. So I've not seen. I'm out in the lake more days than not every week and forever, and so I see what's going on and I know what I'm catching. But I haven't heard of a muskie, and I certainly haven't caught a walleye since you're talking about it. I knew the fingerlings were going in, and back in the day when Dennis, did you know Dennis Demara when he was Parks Director?
No, I did not.
But we had a guy, and Tom would remember this, he actually went out of his way and he created fish structures for the bass. He made them they had cinder blocks on the bottom, and they were pyramid type things. Before that, we were putting a ton of trees down with tires and things like that. So there's structure. I'm curious about how the structure is as well. But, been involved with this, had people come in again, I remember periodically before you, but I'm available and I'm out there. Would you invite, like me as a board member, or something to take part with you to at least see what you're doing with the
I'll
stuff
put you on
arranged?
the boat if
That would
that's
be
what you
great.
would like.
I would love to do that
Because
because I like to educate people here too, and even the board of what's going on out there.
that'd be fine.
I care,
Are you
about-
free this Thursday?
I can be, yeah.
Here's my phone number.
Okay.
570
Where are you based out of? Where's home for you?
Bushkill.
Oh, okay, great. I went to East Stroudsburg.
Okay. 479 1085. That's my cell, and that's the best way to get a hold
Okay.
of me. D.A. Pierce, David Apple Pierce, is at pa.gov is my email.
Okay.
So if I got to do a last minute cancellation,
Okay, I'll probably, that's a text number for you too, right? This is
Yes,
a text,
that's
okay.
correct.
And I was up in Massachusetts for a while, so you'll see me coming in with a 413 number.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Okay.
I'll put you on the boat pending weather.
Yeah.
We'll be able to see. In terms of habitat, the whole far side of that lake is perfect bass habitat.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the upper side of the lake, that's nursery ground heaven right there for bass and panfish.
Exactly.
So I mean, you're in a perfect scenario for a bass panfish fishery. In terms of walleye or even muskies, they are out of basin fish, and I think in general for Area 5, the Upper Delaware drainage, walleye and muskie just do not do well because of the high tannic waters of the glacial bogs, and they just do not like that whatsoever. Particularly muskellunge, even though they can handle oligotrophic or low productivity water. So I mean, they're in Canada big time, right?
Understood.
But it's the tannic water here And for example, I mean, tannery on the Lehigh, where the whole thing was based on the oaks and the tannins for curing hide, is just not going to happen in this lake. And that's the walleye that we found with our trap netting this year. They're still there, but they're in low numbers. But they were decent size. But I think there's a remnant population out of those stockings, and it'll always be there. But it's not worth fishing boats' while to allocate walleye stocking to a lake where they're going to be tough to arrive at. Whereas we can put them in a different water and really get a solid fishery out of it.
So that's allocating resources for the best sustainable
Yeah.
growth. And the other one is channel cats. Although I'm not fishing for them, I caught huge ones. So I'd imagine we're doing all right with channel cats still, or not?
I haven't caught any.
Okay,
No.
they were down in the breast area, down deep.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll turn a few when we go electrofishing, and hopefully we'll see that. We will electrofish across the dam breast and up, and we'll do most of the far side as well as the upper. So I'm hoping to cover a good chunk of the shoreline of this lake.
Great.
If channels are there, we'll find them. We used to stock them in the 70s. For whatever reason, in the 80s, they were discontinued. So if there's channels still in the lake, they're probably getting there from anglers, bringing them in and stocking them, or it's a remnant population that's still existing in the lake, but there's such low numbers. I should have caught them with the trap nets if they were there in decent numbers. Now I caught a lot of bullhead, a lot of brown and yellow bullhead of decent size, quality size, but I didn't find any channels.
Right.
So I won't ever argue against that they're not there. I just think they're in exceptionally low numbers if they are.
What's our time frame on Thursday? What are you planning on?
Sunset's roughly 8:30, so we'll meet at the launch at 7:30.
That's perfect. Yeah.
How about trout, Darryl? A lot of people question why stocking trout was discontinued.
It's too big of a lake. The allocation to be able to get enough stock trout to the angler in this lake would deplete the production capability that we have to be able to satisfy all the other waters across the state.
One time we were just out fishing, just normally, and the truck came and it dumped all the trout down at B, and we just went as a circle right around, and I think we caught them all before they had a chance. It was kind of ridiculous. It was just rodeo, and that was the last time I remember ever seeing or hearing trout being put in.
Now we do heavily stock the creek right below the dam, and that's
Right,
that's a high
exactly.
quality
Yeah.
fishery.
Plus the Sportsman Club does as well.
They do as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Now we won't be opposed if for instance the county wants to stock trout on your own volition into the lake. That's great. We just don't have the resources to be able to suitably stock this lake of this size and still maintain all the other stock.
So Darryl, what you're saying, and Dave's bringing up, and we get that too, that question. So if we would partner with any of the Mock Chunk or Jim Thorpe sportsmen and say put some in here, you wouldn't have a problem with that?
Off the top of my head, no. But we'll have to go through the cooperative nursery and then make sure the T's and I's get crossed
Right.
and dotted and
Yeah,
so forth.
it's a process then.
But I don't, from a fish management perspective, I don't see any issue with that whatsoever. So,
You guys do Lake Otto also, correct?
certainly,
Lake Otto.
you know, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to go look.
I will tell you, in fishing up there, crappies, extra large perch, beautiful perch. What else do we got? There's nice trout in there, and we had a ball up there. 'Cause, well, we couldn't go to Canada, so we went up there and we were fishing up there. We had a heck of a good time.
Excellent. Excellent. Is that one's by Hazelton, right?
No, that
No,
one is
Nesquehoning.
Nesquehoning. It's out Route 54.
Okay.
Between
Right.
Nesquehoning and Hometown.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And it's. I was
Crosses the two
impressed.
counties,
Yeah.
crosses the two counties.
Yeah.
It's a private
private
lake,
okay,
yeah.
that's
And
why
then
it's
even
not
better
reading
is,
about.
But
is
I was
Greenwood.
impressed. I was impressed.
Excellent. Well, and that's what I like about Area 5 is we can produce great panfish, quality, quantity, all day long. We just can't produce walleyes or muskies or other Ohio Basin fishes. We do suitably with bass, which is another Ohio Basin, but we're cursed by the tannic waters. Cursed or blessed, depends on how you want to look at it.
Now, I was on the board when we made it a big bass lake or qualified for that, but you made a little bit of a comment about that and perhaps changing that to improve the abundance. What's on your mind, or at least a thought that you might have?
So big bass is based on a 15-inch minimum, right? And if we're only having 5% of our catch being above that limit, then are we truly giving anglers a big bass experience? I saw
Good
your
point.
picture.
Yeah.
You're having a great big bass, but you're an exceptional angler. So the question is, do your campers, when they come in, does a family, when
Most
they
people
come
don't
in-
know how to fish them here. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And we get a couple clubs coming in and they bang them a little bit. They're better fishermen, so they pull a few out, take
Right.
pictures, send them back.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right. So the goal, when we put a name to a rig,
Right.
right,
Yeah.
and we say this lake is in this water, I want the average angler to be able to come to a water and experience a big bass experience. When we have 5% of the population not only making it
Exactly
to that, I'm
right.
not sure I'm giving that experience to an average angler.
Yeah, you don't want to overpromise and
Yeah.
underdeliver. So what would be an adjustment to that?
It depends, and here's where I'll have to rely on your experience. I don't know what harvest is right now.
Mhm.
This is a high-use lake.
Yeah.
It's certainly easily to understand that. But what I don't know is how much harvest is actually occurring above that 15% or 15-inch minimum size.
Right.
So if there's a lot of harvest occurring, it may be, for instance, a slot limit would be able to help that out. So take one fish, say from the 12 to 15 inches, and only one fish 15 inches or greater.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you manage the limits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and slots go by limit, but
Right.
it presumes that harvest is happening, but not exceptionally so. So if we allow folk to take a smaller fish and satisfy their fishing experience, hey, I want to eat what I caught, they can do that, but we're not focusing solely on the trophy-sized fish that we want to give to those angler experiences. Right now, we're saying if you want to harvest, it's only on the trophy size. That's what the big bass does, right? So is the 5% that we're seeing above the 15-inch minimum, is that because it's harvest? Or is that because that's all the lake can produce? Maybe the lake is completely maxed out. I don't believe so, given the quality habitat out there. But I don't know what harvest is on the lake. I probably won't ever know what the harvest is.
You brought that up a couple months ago about being overfished.
Well, yes, but we're talking about harvest is, there's catch and release,
Yeah.
which I do all the time, but we don't know who's keeping them. That's the
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
And I watch other than visually, and we don't have a whole lot. We did have one time a lot of clubs coming in and having their tournaments here. So if anything, they shock the fish because the boats are getting bigger. The one complaint I'm getting all the time, and I just tell them, is they're saying that at B the ramp is too shallow. I said, well, we didn't build this lake for your size boat.
Yeah.
I humble them a little bit with that, but so we're getting pontoon boats out there now and all kinds of stuff. It's concerning. This week I was like, oh boy, we have to start watching this and seeing that's more in the enforcement end. But
Well, and the tech is getting a lot better. I mean, the side scan sonars.
Exactly,
everything.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
fishing now.
Even
is
on
nothing but
kayaks,
fun.
these guys are loaded
Yeah.
with unbelievable
And
kayaks.
they got the electronic gear there. You can watch your hook go in front of the fish. It's getting much more effective.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll find out what we get this
Yeah.
in the next week or so, and hopefully this early winter or so, when I come back to y'all, I'll have better understandings of what the conditions are right now, and then we can start talking at your desire if we want change or something else.
That's fantastic.
One last thing, Darryl, can you just touch on the water quality
That's
of the
a good
lake?
point.
I haven't monitored water quality. That would be more of a DEP thing.
Okay.
What I've been seeing from the little minutia water quality that I do, which is just temperature and conductivity, this is a low productivity water, meaning it's low conductivity, it has low zooplankton in it. So the fish will be a little bit slower growing in it. That's not an issue because the sizes that I'm seeing are still quality and trophy sizes of fish. It's just going to take them a little longer to get there. The clarity of the water is exceptional. I mean, so to be honest with you, I'll just make a blanket statement. I think you don't have much of a water quality issue at this point, unless you start seeing harmful algal blooms. That's where the surface of the water starts looking green. That's the cyanobacteria that takes advantage of a strong influx of phosphorus or nitrogen. If you see that, call me. I will have somebody come out and sample it.
The day for the beach area, we used to sample that water frequently. Is that still being done?
Oh yeah, you're required to get it sampled every week.
Yeah.
Darryl, we did have about 3 months ago, there was a public comment period because DEP is upgrading Mock Chunk Creek from its beginning down to the river based upon its trout. You know, its habitat for trout. So I suspect we've been upgraded because the public comment period, has ended. Now there is potential encroachment on this side of Lens Trail of housing being built. Now that'll be not connected to borough sewer. It'll be on-site septic system. The borough of Jim Thorpe is currently, I think it was last month, decided they were actually going to relook at loosening their restrictions that could potentially, if come to fruition, would facilitate construction of housing right here within about a quarter of a mile of the actual lake septic system.
Septic system, so they'll have to be perked, right?
Of
Tested
course, yeah,
and
yeah.
all that, but DEP, if they upgrade the entire basin, essentially, is what I'm hearing, then those when that goes through, that should offer the level of protection to keep it higher.
Right.
Higher requirements for whenever that housing development
Right.
goes
The
in.
fact is DEP, their proximity requirement is really close. The borough actually has more restrictive, meaning
Yeah.
further back.
Further back.
However, the concern is they're going to loosen that and allow the houses to actually be closer than their current restrictions have.
That's all on DEP.
Yeah, it is. It is. Again, though, everything has a potential impact
Yeah.
on what you're saying today. 10 years from now, we'll see.
Right, right. And unfortunately in biology it takes 10 years,
Right.
years before you really start seeing the
Yeah.
effects of what you did back in the day.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to say something. I apologize for being late, but I have a concern about the salt load is from the community,
coming from the community or the roads
from
or,
Summit Hill, from Lynch Trail, from Bugsy's Mountain. I mean, they lay the salt down. It seems way more than. I mean, if they could just be made aware to use it sparingly because of the lake.
that would be an issue through DEP.
Right, I figured that, but
We don't address that, but salt overall has been shown to be increasing in the basin itself. Philly Water has a real concern with salt for their drinking water intakes in the Delaware River.
Well, that's coming up from.
They have a clear graph. It's just been increasing.
Right.
But as to regulating it or how salt is applied, that's all through DEP. The conductivity, which relies on salt in this water, this lake has consistently been exceptionally low. Conductivity, I think, is roughly around 90. A high productivity lake or a higher salt lake, content lake with fluorides, you're talking more in 150, 200, even the Susquehanna will get as high as 300, 350, depending where you're at. And that's just natural in those regards, as well as inputs from people. But this lake is really low, so it means I have a tough time electrofishing because there's nowhere for the electricity to be carried through the water, right? There's less chloride item. And that's a good thing, to be honest with you. But I think this lake, in terms of being an influence of salt, I don't know what that is through a data process, but looking at the fish populations with the robustness that I'm seeing in the panfish and hopefully through the bass, they seem to be doing okay so far.
Any other questions for Darryl?
Thank you, Dal. Great,
Thank you.
great to have you come in. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I'll send Dave the quickie PowerPoint. If y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll come back or I'll answer you directly at the time. However it is, just give me a little bit of time. Summer is my big time, so I'm out more than I am in. But I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can. All right.
Good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Do you need me anymore? Or am
I mean, you're welcome to stay, but if you have to leave, that's fine too.
I'll move on. I'm on overtime right now, to be honest with you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, folks.
All right, thank
You
you.
bet.
I hope a fish didn't bite you there.
I screamed like a little girl. I put my hand right on the generator exhaust.
Was that electrofishing, you know?
Well, it was electric.
Oh, yeah.
It was the generator. All right, we'll see y'all.
Take care, Dal.
See ya. All right, now we go to Google of minutes, please.
I gotta get a copy of that.
Was your folder was here?
somewhere.
Was it?
Oh, it might be here. Oh, here you go.
Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome.
Chris, I didn't take your seat, did I?
No, I've been standing. I was sitting for an hour and a half this morning already. Don't need another hour.
Did we have an introduction of our new board member yet? So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I think everybody introduced themselves. Yeah. But Fred Merluzzi, this is he was appointed at the last commissioners meeting for the unexpired term that we were looking to fill. So Fred Merluzzi from Lehighton, he's a retired game commission officer, wildlife conservation officer for how many years?
15 as a deputy and 22 full-time. That's enough.
He volunteers with the Environmental Education Center,
that's great.
and you're still with the EMA,
Yeah,
deputy
exactly.
EMA.
Yeah.
So welcome aboard, Fred.
Keep myself busy.
We go around
And,
the
some,
table
sure,
and interest-
and sometimes dizzy.
Yeah, I already did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Earl Henniger, nice to meet you. Good
Nice
to have you
meet
aboard,
you,
Fred.
Tom O'Lunner.
We met.
We met.
You know Chris?
I see this guy up at EMA every once in a while, don't I?
Yeah, fixing something.
Right, always.
And I'm Rick Forgay. I certainly know you by name through the years. It's nice to have you on the board.
Well, anything I can help.
And we're all here for that. So it's everybody comes in with their own disciplines and experience, which makes a good board.
What's
So-
interesting is, you catch and release. I've been catching and releasing since, I'm gonna say, 66. If I want a nice tasting fish, I'll go to the store and get a nice slab of salmon and I'll do it on the grill.
There you go.
You know, but
Yeah.
no.
Chairman, approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Properly moved and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Vouchers.
What did we do with RFO?
Well, that's oil.
That's the heating fuel for the office. So we have expenses for the month of May totaling $52,560.42.
Just for information on whose boroughs, Dave.
Byros was for the rental of the portable restroom for boat launch B.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
very
boat launch A.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
interesting.
So that's been removed now.
Oh, they're gone now?
Yeah, because we
We're
have
open up.
the bathrooms opened up.
That's great. Pending no other questions, or if there are any questions, I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers for the month.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner?
I deferred my 28 minutes to Daryl. He used it well, so I'll
All
go
right.
ahead and move on.
Just a little bit of a recap on Memorial Day weekend. Saturday was pretty much a wash. There wasn't much activity on Saturday. Sunday was a little bit crazy. We had our whole credit card system went down in the office, so we didn't have a credit card processor for the gate yet. And then we had an issue here at the office with the X charge. So we were able to get the X charge, which is the credit card processor, up and running, the software. That was corrected, but then there was an issue with the reservation system, that they weren't jiving with one another. So the IT department had to come out. They were here just about all day. He left about 4:30 till we got it up and running, but it was a little bit hectic on Sunday. With that, if people came to the office, we had to send them to get cash, and then we were playing catch up at the end of the day, running transactions, through the computer system, the reservation system. So.
It was more of an inconvenience than having
It
a big
was,
event or
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I
And
came through that day.
The following day, Memorial Day, was a challenge, but everything went well. I think that was that the morning, Bob, where we had the music, where they had the trunk open and the literally the trunk open and the speakers out of the
God, I
trunk,
can imagine.
and they're
Yeah.
down on the beach.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't like they had a little radio next to them. They were
Oh man.
like blasting the
we
music
went. I
from
was on the
from
beach
trunk.
that day because I saw the fish commission guy go out on B, and I said I'm not going fishing today. So we went to the beach, and man, this guy was right behind us. He was videoing a rap thing. There was a lot. I don't know what we do with rap or noise regulation on the beach, but
Well,
it was-
we hand them like that situation there. We'll give them the slip, where it has the section of the ordinance, and let them know that it's prohibited. Loudspeakers are prohibited. You need to put it away.
So yeah, just to be clear, I didn't know what our rules were on that, but what are our noise or music regulations on the beach?
Well, as long as they keep it to a minimum where they're not disturbing, other people, I mean, we're fine with it. If it's to the point like that situation there, it was just
You can hear it all the way up
outright
here.
ridiculous.
Right, no, I get it. No,
So
I
then
get
we'll
it.
lean on the
They do
ordinance.
that. They do that in the campground. too.
Say that the use of loudspeakers is prohibited, and
Yeah.
tell them to put it away.
And most are pretty cool with that when they're.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you explain the
Well,
reason.
they don't
for
know.
it.
They're coming from their urban areas and stuff. It's
Oh,
not-
sure.
Yeah.
That's normal every day.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it.
No, noise is a minimum problem down there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That's good.
far and
You're,
few beyond.
Mhm.
Bob's our beach guy. He's.
I was out at Locust Lake and there was an Amish picnic going on at one of the pavilions. And
They have
right
boom
next
boxes,
door
right?
there was people there with the
Oh.
speakers on the roof of the car, and I was on a motorcycle. I heard it from the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
I'm
a
thinking, oh my
contrasting
God,
note
these
to
poor
that.
people.
Yeah.
They couldn't even have a conversation.
Right, that's too bad.
It was
I get
so loud.
Yeah.
Picnic area was quiet from what we've seen throughout the
It's
Memorial
been
Day
nice.
weekend.
Yeah.
We didn't have our credit card processor Memorial Day, so anybody that wanted to pay credit card transactions came to the office. We had two rangers, and we have had two rangers at the entrance at the booth. So to let them know it was cash only ahead. If they needed to pay credit cards, didn't have cash, they came to the office. And that was steady, throughout the day. People coming to the office paying for their daily admission, via credit cards. In fact, we shut down about 10 after 1. Beltsville closed at 10:30, and then we shut it down at about 10 after 1, and we kept it closed until we felt enough people had left where it was manageable, and then we opened it up at about 3:30, I'd say we opened it up. And when we opened it up again, they were still coming. It was a steady flow of people. But it went well. We didn't have any cars parked on Lens Trail. Initially, there was some parked in the grass, had their four-ways on, but they eventually cleared out, probably looking for another place to go. They were parked over in the dirt lot on the other side of Lens Trail there. They started dragging their coolers towards the entrance, and they were told the park's closed, go back to your vehicles, and you need to leave. You can't park, it's private property. And eventually that cleared out too as well. So, but it was a steady flow, turning people away from 10 after 1 until we decided to open up at 3:30. But overall, it went well. Had to get people out of the water at Boat Launch B. They were swimming down at Boat Launch B, had their rafts in the water, so they were, advised that you can't swim anywhere but the designated area, which is closed right now, and the rafts, we had to put them away because you can't be out on the lake with an inflatable, pool type swimming.
Right,
raft.
exactly. Is now a good time to talk about the no fishing on the pier?
I was going to bring that up under park security.
Okay.
Boating facility grant update. I'll bring Fred up to speed here a little bit, but back in, I think it was 2020 is when we applied for and were approved for funding through the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission's Boating Facility Grant Program, which is now called the PA Statewide Public Access Program. We were awarded, I think it was $155,500. We were providing 50%. The Fish and Boat Commission was providing 50%. The improvements were for new restrooms down at Boat Launch B. There's still going to be vault-style restrooms, but something that's more modern and easier to maintain. And then also paving of the parking area and the one section there, the remaining section that we have to pave. So paving improvements and a new restroom. Since then, it was executed by the county commissioners, sent back to the Fish and Boat Commission for their execution and approval, and then at that point they decided to seek federal funding for the project. So that has been an ongoing process with the Fish and Boat Commission seeking the federal funding, and from what I understand, it was finally approved for federal funding, and the Fish and Boat Commission now has to vote on the additional $25,000. I was asked to give a revised cost estimate, or the engineer was asked to give a revised cost estimate to send to the Fish and Boat Commission, and that's where it's at right now. They're going to be voting on that at the July meeting for the additional $25,000 that was needed, since the time lapse, and hopefully we can get a contract signed and approved, and we can get started on it. I can tell you the parking lot down there is really bad. Yeah, it needs work.
Oh, it's a mess. Yeah, at least fill in the potholes.
I mean, just to try to patch that, it's almost like you're just wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. It's really falling apart. The bathrooms are the original bathrooms, going back to
That's right.
1976 or whatever year it was. I think it was 76
Right.
when the park was officially dedicated. So they're actually the original bathrooms.
The bathrooms up at environmental ed center. That's that one that it's a composting.
The Clivis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would that. I don't know if they still do those Clivises at all, but would that help the park?
We put that in back then, but it's an electricity issue, right, Dave? Is that?
Down there.
No.
Oh no. Well, we have one in the campground that we
A
put in.
Clivis.
A Clivis.
Yeah.
And
But, I
but
mean-
there's with the one in the campground, that's an electricity issue.
Yeah.
correct?
Correct.
I'm thinking of the boat launches. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what the cost of those
Right.
are.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have to be cleaned out once a year.
Well, that's it. That's we put the one in the camp back with years ago, and it worked well for that reason, and it's worth checking into. It's worth-
The grant that was submitted was for, and the money awarded was for, it's I believe CXT bottles.
specific.
Yeah, they use them at a lot of Fish and Boat Commission properties. Delaware Water Gap uses. They're kind of like prefab units where they deliver them and
okay.
you put them in place.
And then you just pump them.
Yeah, you'll pump them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And state parks, they go with this company a lot too. Park maintenance, everybody got their report for the month of June. We did finally get the McCartney Pavilion straightened out and power restored to the Agnes McCartney Pavilion. It was close. I mean, we were cutting it close for sure. June 3rd is when they actually restored power. It was rented June 4th, and they were here early, June 4th, to get in. A couple people were here to set up early, so ran into all, when they started digging down by the pavilion, they were hitting big rocks. They had to get the jackhammer and jackhammer some of the rocks to get some of the rocks out. And the farther away they moved from the pavilion, the digging became easier, but we also got delayed with starting it because we had an issue with the underground wire that led to the restroom in the picnic area. They had to replace that underground line too as well. Backhoe needed to be repaired. There was a break in the hydraulic line, so Schneider had to come in to fix that for us. He brought in the parts and fixed it on site here for us so that we could continue work, and that happened. I think they were here. Schneider was here actually the morning of June 3rd, the day that we completed it. We got a little bit delayed a little bit too because of the paving with the crew fixing the road. Some of the road sections of the main road leading through the park were damaged from the trucks going back and forth. So they had the road shut down for a while, fixing the main road, some of the damage. PA system, we're planning on getting that done. Well, this week we were working on it. They started on it yesterday. I don't know how far they got on it. I haven't been down there. I know they have the lift. They got the lift from the prison to put the speakers up. Yesterday they said they were having issues with the lift when it wasn't working. So I don't know what the issue is with the lift, but I noticed it was down there, this morning. So they must have got it working. The wiring's there. There's 3 speakers, and then the system itself with the microphone. So that'll be I know Commissioner pushed for that through the P Corps grant, and that'll be a big help for us down at the beach. We used to make announcements periodically throughout
Used
the day.
to do the welcome speech.
The welcoming
Yeah.
announcement.
You could
and
play
then
like Wildwood play the Star Spangled
the
Banner.
closing announcement.
Yeah.
All that kind of helps. Not to mention if you have somebody who's looking for somebody, or you have an issue with a vehicle, you
Absolutely,
can make
yeah.
an announcement.
Yeah.
We have 4 memorial benches to install. 5 are installed, so 4 of them to go yet. We do need to make repairs to camping area roads. I did talk to Jack this morning about just having one, just fix that one. There's one real bad washout at the bottom, and if we could just fix that one severe washout, the rest of it we could get to when we have more time to get to it. I mean, there's potholes, but it's not too awful bad. Eventually, we'll have to go in and fine tune
Test your
things.
driving.
But the one washout down at the bottom there on quite a lakefront sites is
Exactly.
yeah,
it's just-
he's supposed to be working on that today. We do have a water point at site 58 that needs to be fixed. Hoping to get to that, next week or the week after. Sand rake, we talked about the sand rake that fell apart on us, so we're going to be looking to either I think Ag Industrial made the last one for us, the beach rake, and I can tell you it just makes a world of a difference. In the morning, I mean it's I always admire their work in the morning when I do the morning round through the park. I mean you wouldn't believe how many people. The park could be jam-packed on a Saturday. Well, Sunday morning when you go through, you couldn't believe there was as many people in the park. The maintenance staff do a really good job getting the park ready every day and making sure that the park looks presentable. And I think that raking the beach in the morning just really adds to that.
Absolutely.
EEC pavilion roof, thoughts are is if we can get caught up here and our guys have the time, maybe we can get on it. If not, the other option is to get a price from somebody and
I thought we were gonna do that.
get a price from
Get a
somebody.
price and get it
Yeah,
done.
that's-
Yeah. And then you gotta watch, I guess, with how much it costs. If we run into,
Once it goes over
you
21,
gotta start
we'll
bidding it.
I think
Over
11,000, we
Yeah.
just need telephonic or in person.
Yeah.
But once we
I-
hit 21,
I can't believe that would cost that much.
let's hope not.
Metal roof are they using? A metal roof?
Well, it all depends on what we pick.
I think the
guess.
thought was just, we replace it with what was
Replace.
there.
Yeah. Come on now.
And then he
what?
wanted to
Well, I like those metal roofs. They last for 50 years.
All right, then why don't we get a
Yeah.
price for
Well,
both?
that's a good idea.
You know, and they look much nicer, I think.
Oh,
And
they
they're
do.
fireproof also.
Yeah.
There's
All
no
good,
doubt
yeah.
they look good.
Well, I think Tom's right. Get a price for both.
I would
The
get a
sad
price.
part about metal roofs is they're fireproof, right? You get no break in insurance.
No.
Because I was
Right.
considering putting one on, and I said, "Oh, so my insurance could." They said, "Oh no."
Yeah, I know.
No,
Interesting.
the insurance companies
Right.
makes no sense.
I mean, it's more difficult to fight a fire if you have to cut a hole through it to ventilate a house or whatever. But
Yeah, but
as far as embers falling on the roof and
yeah, it makes
longevity of the roof, and I
That's
think
what
they're
I
more
would do.
aesthetically pleasing to look at, and there's a lot of, I don't know. And what I found is they're not that much more expensive because you go right over the existing roof without that removal,
yeah.
and
And then that doesn't end up in a landfill
Right.
or recycle.
Exactly.
Well, they do recycle a lot of
And they did ask about like the vinyl siding, on the sides as opposed to the wood,
that.
like the way our pavilions are. Seasonal maintenance, they've pretty much been working steadily, keeping up with the grass cutting. I mean, it's bolt launch B. Looks like it hasn't been cut in weeks, and actually they've cut bolt launch B probably 4 times already. So it's just non-stop cutting grass and trimming weeds, as much as we can, where we can. I know certain areas of the park need to get trimmed yet, but they've been on it, and they've been working as much as they can, trying to keep up with the mowing and the trimming. Trash removal too. Bears have been at the dumpsters multiple times. The guys were out there this morning again, picking up trash that was, scattered about from the bears.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Hey, don't
usually
look at
around
me.
this-
I don't work for the game commission
around this time of
anymore.
the year, and then
They like donuts, right? They like donuts.
After a certain point in time, they kind of give up on the dumpsters and move on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because it's early in the year, they're coming out of hibernation. There's not much food in the forest yet, or what it is. Fred, you would know more than me, but it seems like eventually they kind of move
Taper
away
off.
from the dumpsters and taper off. Same thing with the geese. They pick up the geese droppings on the beach. Faithfully we clean that up. They inspect the beach every morning, look for it, clean it up. We get our water tested on a Monday now. You know, Rick had asked about the water testing, so which Monday works much better for us because we get the results earlier in the week, usually a Wednesday, so we know that we're good to go
That's great.
for the weekend.
That's great.
But they do a really good job of you know, picking that up too as well. Just had an issue with the sink at the restroom, and we have another one I think that's blocked now, where they had to, you know, snake the sink and unclog it. Clogged, people just keep using it, fills up with water, and there's water all over the place. So, you know, we run into those sorts of issues, you know, now as the activity in the park starts to pick up. We put the volleyball nets up. There was some fine tuning to do the week before Memorial Day weekend, but they did get the volleyball nets up, and I can tell you that they were used, you know, pretty heavily. Not Saturday, but Sunday and Monday, and the courts, both courts, were actually had activity going on at them throughout the day.
I can tell you what the problem with the sinks are. You have people that go in there and they want to take a whole shower
And they sand
In
in the
sand.
sink. Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
that's what they said. It's
Yeah.
sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's blocking the, you know,
Yep.
clogs it up. It blocks the pipes.
Yeah. But you see that all the time there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we did relocate parking blocks that were out front here. We needed to get the grass cut and get trimming done, so we moved them to the pile that the contractor had in the park. Now the contractor's supposed to come today to put the parking blocks in back in front of the office there. That was the latest I heard though. And that would be maintenance. Anything on maintenance?
There was a lot of work in a month.
Yep. Park security, we did have 3 evictions. We evicted 3 people from the camping area. One was Memorial Day weekend due to noise, excessive noise, 3 o'clock in the morning. Normally that's associated with alcohol. So, you know, we sent them home the following day. And there was another one for noise as well in a cabin. And then we had a third one where, I guess, the boyfriend showed up and was using the cabin that the former girlfriend had rented. So, you know, we went out, we talked to him. It's, you you didn't pay for the reservation. It's not your reservation. You know, you need to leave. So he did leave. He didn't cause us any problems. He was gone within a half hour. So we had a couple of evictions in the camping area. One citation was issued for damaging the trees. Again, stripped the bark all the way up and down the tree. The whole sapling was a young, I guess maybe red maple. Just stripped the bark off of it, and then had cut down another small tree in one of the campsites. So that was Memorial Day weekend when the Rangers were out there. The following day, I guess it was Tuesday, is when it was discovered. Now how it plays out, we did file a citation. You know, they may challenge it and say it wasn't us. You know, but the thought was submit the citation and at the very least inconvenience them to have to come in to present their case. But that site wasn't rented out all year. Nobody was in the site, other than those individuals. So we'll see how it plays out.
Dave, I'd like to back up a second. I forgot an issue. The blockage on the tower line on the switchback trail.
Is it still blocked?
Oh my God, yeah.
Because I called Tim Jackson about that, and he told me that they were going to be soon beginning their restoration phase, and that would be, he assured me that would be taken care of.
Okay.
Because I guess they have to remove all the wooden planks.
Right.
All that has to get removed. The driveway at the Environmental Education Center,
Right.
that has to get repaved.
Right.
But he did assure me that it would be taken care of. You're able to get by, like walking or with a bike.
Walking in
Not
a
a
bicycle,
car,
you're not
right.
going by with a vehicle though.
Right.
But there must be 50 ton that came down, and it's going to be reoccurring if they don't,
Yeah.
do something up above to divert that.
I'll call him and follow up with him.
Yeah. Okay. And if they can't do it, it's something that we could do, because I would like to do a little maintenance on that upper thing is blocked with leaves, and now it's starting to get out on the trail and do some damage. That material that actually washed down is all modified. There must be 50 ton or more, and that could be used, to do a little repair on the trail rather than just, push it away. So, anyway,
Okay.
it needs to be addressed because it's causing that to wash out. Now the water's going around it. And,
Yeah, then eventually we're gonna need. I got the gate where the road comes in off of 902 there at the base of Bugsy's. There's the road that they put in there.
yeah.
That's gonna stay the way it is. I know
Mhm.
you had concerns
Yeah,
that
that'd
they were
be
gonna
great.
pull everything out, but it's gonna stay the way it is. I gotta see who's gonna. Are they putting a gate in? I would imagine that we'll probably have to put a gate in because I don't think there wasn't a gate there to begin with. It was just like kind of a mound of dirt. I was informed yesterday about a Ranger vehicle, a new Ranger vehicle, a leased vehicle is coming our way within the next week or so.
Pretty soon.
I don't have an
Just
exact
got lucky.
date.
One popped up available.
And,
to replace the 2009, right?
Yeah, Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
We did have some issues with that recently. I had broken down on Lentz Trail. The fuel pump went on it, and now the fuel pump was fixed. The gas gauge doesn't work, so the commissioners are working on getting us a more reliable vehicle, leased vehicle. Markings. I'm not sure about markings or how we figure that part of it out. From what I understand, it's not marked.
No. We'll get it done. We just did them with tax
Yeah.
assessment and stuff like that. Yeah.
Just somehow
The
so that
decals
people
and
can,
stuff.
recognize it
Yep.
as a ranger in case they have a concern or an emergency or something to report. We did have some campfire activity along the shoreline trail in an area where we've had issues with that before. It seems to come and go, but we'll keep a watch on that and make sure that it's not something that's reoccurring. I don't know if they've been back. I haven't heard that they've been back, but whoever it was, now that they discovered that area, because it's a popular spot. Now that they discovered it, they could be back. So we're gonna keep a watch on that. Just so that we don't have people trashing it and leaving trash behind.
It was Camp Salamander.
That's where it is,
I was
yeah.
out on the boat, and
Yeah.
that was our ice fishing spot with
Oh,
Ricky
yeah.
Johnson. So I was a little bit pissed when I saw that. It was a couple Hispanic kids. They had the boom box. I went down the next day. They threw socks, cigarette things. They left 3 pennies for good luck. That was. But they had to fire right on the trail, and I said to Dave, I didn't say anything to them, but I pinged Dave, and that's not an easy place to get to. But I think next time I'm going to be vocal to them from the boat.
The Rangers didn't.
From the boat.
Be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, well that's it.
They called Summit Hill. The Ranger called Summit Hill in, and Summit Hill came, but they just didn't. They didn't go down
No.
far enough.
They just
No.
went to the bench.
The
you know.
first, they turned around at probably the first.
I went
bench.
down the next morning
Yeah.
and saw that it was right on the trail. They had the fire.
Yeah, I walk
and they
through
didn't.
there
They
all
didn't
the
know.
time.
But say again.
I say I walk through there all the time.
Yeah.
The
It's
litter
kind of
that's
growing
left
in,
in.
going
I
into
take a
it
bag
from the
along.
west. Yeah, that's yeah.
But
we-
it's between fishing line and stuff through the trees and
Yeah, exactly.
We did pick up another lifeguard. He starts today. He's from the Height
Is that 7 then?
Basin, so that gives us 7. Yes, 6 to 7. And we also might have another. Chris reached out to me. He was a lifeguard with us last year, and he reached out to me over the weekend, asked if we're looking to fill any positions, and I said, yes, we're looking to fill positions. Whatever job he had hoped for, had lined up for him for the summer, fell through. So when I was thinking about it, I know I reached out to him a couple times for a resignation letter. If you're not going to return, let me know so we can free the position up. When I looked, he didn't. He never did that. So he's still on active payroll. which kind of helps on our end speed up the process. So he did find a recertification class June 22nd through the 24th. He signed up for that, so that will give us 8 then, for July. So we're getting closer to that number of 10. Things are improving lifeguard wise. And we did finally get a park attendant. She started on Monday, and then she was working yesterday, and today's her 3rd day. So we picked up a park attendant a little bit later in the year than what we normally have a park attendant, but better late than never because she's been a big help. And then there was concerns with the fishing. The way it is now, the Fish and Boat Commission, they allow people to fish from the docks as long as they yield to boaters. So, like when we're on patrol, if we see somebody, we'll remind them to yield to the boaters. But the problem is that you don't know whether they are or they're not, and most people do, I would imagine, but some people don't. So there's been complaints about people fishing from the docks, and I thought about it, and it used to be no fishing from the docks, and I think from our standpoint it would be easier if it was just no fishing from the docks, and then that way you don't have as many. You're still going to have the activity, but I think you're going to cut down on it. People are going to be less likely to go out there if it says no fishing. So we're going to go back to the no fishing from the docks, because I did talk to Scott about it. I wasn't really sure how that worked, but Scott was for us not wanting fishing from the docks. Not going to be a big priority of his, but if that's what we want to do, that's what we could do. So I would suggest, and I know Rick has suggested that too in the past about let's not allow the fishing from the docks. So we'll see if that.
Yeah, well, the
helps
history
improve
on that
things.
was I was coming in one night and these kids at B had their car with the lights on the dock going straight across the lake, and you couldn't see coming in. I'm a pilot, it's like if I saw that as a pilot, I wouldn't be able to land, But then they gave me lip, when I tried to explain to them that it's not a good practice. So then we created some cutesy signs that are there last year that says yields to the fish. But now, the traffic's the boating traffic is increasing. And for the most part, I think people are respectful on the piers. But that's why I think next time I put this together, when a parent dies, there's a lot of paperwork that you go through. And my mom had all the stuff, so I have the whole history from when the board was an authority. Tom was the only one on the authority. I was the first one appointed in 1988 as a commission when we turned it over to the county. So I have the whole history on that. I'm going to do it for next meeting. But it is all the boards, all the commissioners. You might remember that guy, Earl. Remember that picture?
Oh yeah.
We recognized
Yeah.
Earl and Pussy.
Wow,
Clay.
long hair and everything.
Back,
I look like a
back
beatnik in
100
there.
years. Look at me. I'm like a kid, back then. But we have all the boards, and everything. So all the improvements that we did. So I'm going to put this together in a way I can pass it out for the next meeting for everybody. But it highlights everything that was done during that time. And I credit Mom for putting it all together. Even what we expanded down to the Jim Thorpe launch, the launch of the historic site down there, the tourist place. So there's a lot of history that some of us might remember and look back upon fondly, and then for the new board members, and even for Dave, you'll get a history of all the stuff that was done during that period of time from the inception of. See, the lake was, at that time, back in the 60s, the Parks Board was made to build the lake and then manage it, and then it was in 1988. Tom was on that board. I replaced Joe Bajak. He was on that original board, Agnes McCartney, certainly. And then when all that was done, we turned it over to the county, and that was in April of '88, and that was the first board member that was appointed by the commissioners at that time. I think we had many commissioners, chairs. Tom was chair, myself, and I think Charlie Getz might have been for a little bit. So we only had 3 chairs in all that time, and we only had 2 parks directors, Dennis and Dave. So when you put it all together, but we did a lot of stuff, and I think it would just be good. I'm gonna take this and make copies so each of you can have the whole history of that.
Nice.
But it was, yeah, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
that is.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I mean, I have some of them are original. Remember, I'm just looking at, gosh, when Betty was Betty Quarry. Remember, oh gosh, what was his name? Mark Leffler.
Oh
Remember that
yeah,
name?
I
John-
served with Mark.
Yes, these were, and then Willard and all. Here's look at you, Tom. Look how young and handsome you were there.
Yeah. That's a lot of years ago.
Yeah, and we had Lenny Alabovitz, Charlie Getz. We had, there was a lot of stuff, and thanks to Mom. Look at Dennis back 100 years ago.
Holy
Dennis
Christ.
and I was handing out windshield things. I think I was just new on the board at that time. We were with the commissioners, getting checks, passing. And then one time we had the parks rates. Geez, it was big articles in the Morning Call, everything about the debate over the parks stuff. And there's Earl right there and Puzzy. Dennis and I decided to give them.
What year was that?
That was. Oh, that's why I have to look on that. It's probably on the original clipping, but that had to be 1989, maybe, around that time.
It's hard to believe the
Yeah,
time that goes
yeah,
by,
it
huh?
really is.
Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff.
Time
Goes
flies.
quick, brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
So I'll have that just to save time. Here's the original sign that we put out front. This was June of 1988. So the Warren sign that you see out
Oh,
front, that's what we put. That's
Oh.
when we installed it. So that was in 1998. And some of the players back then, it's just fun to look back. And this was the original article of the when the Parks Board went from board to authority, or from authority to commission. That was in April of '88. So,
That was more fun when it was the authority.
well, I knew he was going
You
to
can
say
make
that.
decisions, right?
Yeah.
Instead of recommendations.
Well, that's
Yeah,
right.
and money.
Yeah,
Right.
it was it was an amazing turnover, and then I was the first one who was appointed as a commissioner.
What's really amazing is all the different diverse people that have been involved
Right.
over that time period that ended up doing all of this stuff.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It goes back to the Vermillions were involved
Oh,
back in
yeah.
the day, and so I carry that history. But mom saved all the articles, which was
Oh.
great. So it'll be good for everybody here again to realize what was done, and as we're moving forward into great progress moving forward as we continue.
Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome.
The only other thing I had under security with the railings, we talked about the railings. Missy reached out to Sealy's Marina to see if there's anything that could be done. We didn't get the railings that we ordered. They gave us railings with rod holders on, of all things, and it's when they see that, then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it promotes.
I
it
saw
even-
somebody
even
using them.
more. So
So you're getting routed signs now. Is that the?
we're gonna make we might even have the old ones. Believe it or not, those guys that we could just put back up till we get new ones made. I think I like to have boats only underneath, no fishing, boats
The
only.
point is, and we have the dedicated in this history too, is when we built and dedicated the handicap fishing pier. So if we can steer them towards that, rather than
Right.
just saying no, saying you want to fish, go to the fishing pier,
Mhm.
rather than just saying no as an
No.
alternative. We're giving them slip, to hand out. We do that for something else. I think it was as an alternative.
Yeah, and then the
Or we do it for the other parks or whatever.
we're getting boats are banging off the railings. We're getting complaints from boaters
Oh,
that,
I get that.
that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
hitting from the wave action. Their
That's
boats are
right.
wrapping up
They don't
against the
have
railings. So, whether it's the rod holder railings or if we get new railings, the thought is to put like some padding, padding around it, insulation, piping insulation or something to.
Yeah, I had some concerns about them. I share Bernie had concerns about them too early on, and I think the consensus is, if you get those, like you put on
Pipe insulation.
that's simple, and then duct tape them. But it's worth a year or whatever, a challenge, see what we have going, and yay or nay, they're easy enough to pull out. But I think the no fishing thing is a step in the right direction. And it eliminates potential conflict too between boaters and fishers.
We don't want to see you getting a fist fight out there or
No,
going down to fishing.
yeah, right. That's not gonna happen.
It's bad enough with deer, who shot what deer.
Oh, yeah, that's your valley.
Freaking knife fight.
Oh my God! Yeah, I get that. That's... Okay, well, we lost our chair.
He'll be back.
He wants to go back to the authority. How many sets of commissioners we went through? I can't tell. Between my dad
Well,
and
actually, you
myself,
didn't go
we-
through enough, to be honest. That's part of the problem in Carbon County. You didn't go through enough.
we had a lot, but
Yeah.
not enough. As
Right.
well. Yeah, there were a lot of long termers.
Yeah.
Right. All right, sir. Where we at? Correspondence?
You're up,
Special
Tom.
Oh, special
activities. We don't have any special activity requests. The Keystone Backyard Ultra, that went well. That was the running marathon. Didn't last as long as last year. I think it was like 90 degrees or something like that. It was really hot that day. When I came in the following day, it was already over. It was really hot. Yeah, so they didn't make it as the winter didn't make it as nearly as long as the year before. But it went well. The event went well.
Good.
We had some trees to clean up along the trail, and they helped out too. They'll handle some of the trimming too as well. They're volunteers, so it went
Good.
well. So I guess the next event coming up would be the Race Street Run. I don't have the date in front of me. That always used to be July 4th holiday weekend. So they moved it, earlier to
It's
June.
actually in June. I think it's the last Saturday
I
in
think
June.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's coming up, the Race Street Run.
I think
They've been
they're-
doing that for years.
I think they're waiting for more participants. I don't think they have enough.
It really is promising.
I remember the first one. First one started at the side of the courthouse.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Have you been on Ray Street lately?
Have
I
I?
haven't
I
been-
haven't been downtown.
Project
What's going on?
for the gondola. I don't
Oh,
understand.
really?
You don't see
Oh,
any,
wow.
but I mean, he's dug into the mountain.
Oh
No
yeah.
kidding,
Oh,
yeah.
up on Race Street.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
That's
'cause I go
crazy.
over
I
and
don't.
see,
I don't fully understand what's gonna happen there, but
I got a buddy that lives over there, so I go over to High Street quite
Mhm.
a bit. So,
I guess they got the water line in now and it's repaved.
oh yeah, it's
probably.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That's the nicest Race Street ever looked.
sure.
Sits
It'd be
on
good
a
for
lot.
skateboarding and stuff.
Yeah.
Cross hill climb.
That you know what? That's as busy up there in High Street on a weekend as it is downtown.
Even with no steps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All
Which
right.
they need back badly.
Correspondence.
We received a request from EOS Therapeutic Riding Center, and we get every year from them a request to donate to their basket raffle. I think normally we give them a 2-night midweek cabin stay.
That sounds good.
EOS Therapeutic Riding Center.
Make a motion.
Yeah, they've been doing that a long time.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I made the motion.
I'll second it.
Properly moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
A new board member can adjourn. You can make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Anything else, David?
No, that's
Dave?
all for me.
Isn't there one from the Penn Kidder branch of the Dimmick Memorial
Oh,
Library?
I'm sorry, there is.
Yeah, same thing.
Same
Yeah.
thing. They
Yeah.
the Dimmick Memorial Library. They have a fundraiser. I believe it's a golf tournament,
Right, yeah.
and we think we donated to this one previously. Also a 2-night midweek cabin
We'll
stay.
make a motion for, okay, go ahead,
Second.
Bob. Yeah. Bob can make the motion and.
Thanks for
Yeah,
reminding me.
just popped in my
And
head.
Fred
when you mentioned
seconded
this
that.
therapeutic.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You know, you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You could donate them coming down to the beach and raking the beach for 1 day to see exactly what comes out of that beach after a weekend. That would
Oh, you
educate
mean
the
like
that would
coins and all that.
Yeah, that would educate the public, and it wouldn't ask for any more donations.
Does, before we adjourn, does anybody have anything they want to bring up? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn, but I wanna tell you, I feel privileged being amongst you people,
Thank you.
everyone here, because you've laid the groundwork for how many years?
Thank you.
And we're thrilled to have you.
Oh,
So
thank you,
that's
Fred.
why you bring in great experience and
Well,
outdoor knowledge to a good cause.
just so you know, I don't do bear complaints. I
I
can give you some tips.
I need a second.
Second.
Properly moved and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?